Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to Hurricane Game Day, presented by Williamson Automotive. Coming up on the show, we'll talk with University of Miami head coach Jim Morris, and we'll talk Hurricanes baseball. This weekend, the Canes are home in ACC play against Pittsburgh. Last weekend, Miami was on the road and evened their record in conference play by taking 2 out of 3 from Clemson, including a remarkable come-from-behind win on Friday night. The Canes trailed 11-3 going into the 9th inning and rallied to win the game in extra innings 12-11. Now let's take a look back at last week's exciting highlights of the Canes and the Tigers from Clemson, South Carolina. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day, presented by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki joined now by the skipper, University of Miami head baseball coach Jim Morris, and the Hurricanes coming off a great weekend. Last weekend against Clemson, took 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks. And it was a good weekend for us. I mean, Clemson was ranked number 7 in the country, and it was spring football, so they kind of combined the whole weekend together, and they had some great crowds, and they got a good club, but we played good.
The University of Miami has had a lot of magical moments on your watch, and Friday night a week ago had to be one of those. Down 11-3 going into the 9th inning and rallied to come back and win the game in extra innings.
It was huge. We just going back-to-back hits, and it didn't walk people. We got hits, and it was that 8th run and tied it up in the 9th and won it in the 12th, and it was a huge win for us. And it's great for our guys because we're trying to get some confidence going, trying to get some things going. We got a lot of young players in the lineup combined with some guys, but some of the young guys. But Romy had a big day, had 4 hits that day and hit the ball hard 5 times. So it was good.
Do you think a win like that, along with taking the series from Clemson, how much confidence do you think that can instill in your ball club?
We got to hope it does, no question about it, because we need something like that to build on, and that was a huge weekend for us, big wins, and kept us in the middle of the pack, and a chance to move up in the standings and get ready for the ACC tournament. So, it's exciting. It's fun to watch some of the guys that had big days or even big weekends. Alex Terrell didn't start the game, came in, went 2 for 4. The next day got 2 hits. The next day got 2 hits. Some of the things we, had expected and hoped, out of Alex. So along with some of the other guys that did very well, and got Danny Reyes. So I'll be back in the lineup this week. I think he played the first game 3 at bats and off the surgery on his thumb. So we're getting some guys back, and that's exciting. McMahon's back, and that's good for us too.
What was it like for you and the coaching staff in the dugout of the Friday night game in the 9th inning as it's starting to unfold, one hit after another?
Well, you get a couple of them, you think we still got a long ways to go, but they just keep coming, and then, we had a chance to win it because we had the guys running in scoring position there when the game was tied, and we didn't get it to the 12th. It was a great feeling from the coaches and the players. Everybody was very excited.
Did you feel like once you got it tied, and some of the damage was done with 2 out as well, but did you feel like in extra innings, gee, we've come this far. There's no way we're losing this game now?
Well, you felt like you got to win. You got to win this one, coming back to where they did. And they didn't get anybody on the base in 9th, 10th, or 11th, so, it gave us a chance to get it done.
And then the next day was a doubleheader. You took the first one. You ended up winning 2 out of 3, but split the doubleheader and, again, played really well in the first game.
You're right. Well, anytime you win on the road, a series, I always, that's one of my goals, if you can win the series on the road, and especially a club ranked in the top 10 like Clemson was. So it's it's big for us. And we didn't play bad the third game. They just beat us. They got a good club.
You've had some great wins in the conference. You're 500 in the conference. Some of the upper echelon teams you played really well against and battled North Carolina, swept Virginia, took 2 out of 3 from Clemson.
You're right, and you look ahead and you look at the ACC tournament, and there's a hope there that you can win that tournament and get an NCAA tournament.
You mentioned some of the guys coming back, and this has been a season where you've been riddled with injuries. What does it say about the way your team, though, has battled? It would be easy for some of these young guys to kind of start waving the white towel, and they haven't done that.
Well, we were worried about that. I can tell you at one point in the season we'd lost a few games, and Reyes is out, and Amditas is out, McMahon's out. We got some of the different guys that are hurt, and some other guys are hurt too. And you expect at the beginning these young guys to come along gradually, but you expected to have the other guys, your top guys, Romy and all those guys, playing the way you expect them to play, and Reyes and all those guys to get things going. But we lost some of those guys, and then it was just like you got all these rookies trying to go. And 1 or 2 guys I think can adjust, but when you got 5, 6, 7 rookies in the lineup, it's pretty tough.
Can you talk for a moment about Isaac Quinones, who kind of a late addition to the club, right? Backup catcher. He's hitting number 9, catches fire. At some point during this streak, he had him in the cleanup spot.
He's a walk-on. He came to our camp last summer. We saw him, and he got his chance to play. He got his chance to play when Amditas got hurt. We were very concerned. The walk-on freshman that you hadn't played at this level at all, but he's just played his heart out. He's played very well. I mean, everybody's rooting for him because they know how hard he's worked and how well he's done.
You'll have Amditas coming back, so that'll be a good problem for you to have, right? You have 2 guys that are capable behind the plate.
You're right, and Jonas is our leading hitter, so it's amazing to say, what do you do? What do you do? And Reyes is back, and Reyes is the best hitter on our club, in my opinion. Fall, preseason, spring, to the day he got hurt, he was our best hitter without question this year, and he was MVP of the fall, and we're getting him back this week too. So that's big, and that's what you want to have. You're trying to figure out who to put in because nobody was hitting, and now you got a lot of guys hitting after the Clemson series, and you get a couple of guys back, and that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, well, one of the things I think you would say that's been problematic this year, it's scoring runs in bunches. It's tough to score runs in bunches if you're not hitting the long ball or getting extra base hits, and that hasn't really been part of the arsenal, mainly because either guys didn't perform the way you thought or because of the injuries.
Well, you're right, and even against Clemson, we got single after single after single to get those 8 runs. So it wasn't like we hit home runs. They hit 3 home runs to get way ahead of us, and we didn't do that. But we got the base hits when they counted there in the 9th inning, but Romy started swinging the bat, and he can give us some power. Trowell starts swinging the bat in that series, and he can give us some power. Reyes coming back can give us some power. He's got more power than anybody on the club. And so we got some guys coming back, and I'm very optimistic that with our pitching staff, and even though we have lost Greg Velez, has been out for, 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure when he's coming back. And so we're missing a couple guys there that got hurt. But still, we feel like we're coming back, and we feel like we're getting better, and that's the goal of this team, is to be as good as they can be by the end of the season, by tournament time, get into a tournament and make something happen. Yeah,
it almost looks like, if guys keep plugging away and the players you just mentioned, you hit for a little more power, that teams might not want to fall asleep on the University of Miami.
Well, I think they've seen, we've beaten some of the top teams there and in the clutch situations in the conference, and because it's a great conference from top to bottom. From you watch Duke sweeps at Florida State, Georgia Tech loses 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh, who's coming in this weekend. So, I mean, there's so many upsets, so many good clubs. NC State's been on fire, so it's some very, very good teams.
You mentioned the pitching, and for the most part, it has been steady. It might be one of the areas also that could carry you in the second half. How important will your pitching staff be?
Well, we feel like our starting pitching, is very good, and our bullpen, we got to get that stabilized. We put Fetterman back in a bullpen, not because he wasn't throwing good, but because we got McMahon back, and we felt like he could go in that role and help us win games, along with Cooper and along with the other guys in there that can do it. Of course, Bartos has just pitched outstanding at Clemson on Friday night. Pitched 4 innings, he got the W there. So him and Cook, coming in and doing some things. So it's a combination of guys.
All right, we're going to talk more with University of Miami head coach Jim Morris as we continue right here on Hurricane Game Day right after this. This portion of Hurricane Game Day is brought to you by Williamson Automotive. Miami's premier luxury dealership is Williamson Cadillac, because Williamson is Miami. Visit WilliamsonAutomotiveGroup.com. And also by UHealth Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider for your Miami Hurricanes. We'll get you back in the game. And by Mito Swiss Watches since 1918, the official timekeeper of the U. Visit shopmito.com. It's game time. Go Kings. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day as we continue, brought to you in part by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki alongside University of Miami head coach Jim Morris. We talked a couple of weeks ago about your 25th year, and you're making the rounds now. What's it been like for you on the road? Clemson had a nice special presentation for you as well.
What it is, it's kind of sentimental, it's touching at times, to be honest with you. It's, to realize that, I've been doing this a long time, and it'll be the last time I go to Clemson, and Coach William was a very good friend of mine, and I respect that program. I've been playing against him actually since 1978, so a long time. So I've been in that ballpark a lot of times, worked his camps for him. Of course, he passed away a couple of years ago, and his wife passed away last year, who I was looking for. I didn't realize that. And so it's, it's very touching, and it's nice. And the coaches have been very, very respectful, which is, nice, because a lot of times you just battle each other.
Right.
It's a good game afterwards or whatever, So, but it's been nice, and bringing some things home that, that they gave to me are a touch of class.
What I think has been interesting is you mentioned you battled against these guys, and you have battled against most of them for a long time. But a lot of their speeches and things have been almost a thank you card to you for the things that you've done, kind of paved the way for other guys in college baseball.
Well, the game's changed a lot since I got in it, no question about it at this level and all the colleges. So many colleges now have jumped in to support baseball and emphasize baseball, whether it's Florida Atlantic or Florida Gulf Coast or FIU or South Florida. So there's so many good teams now that used to just be Miami and Florida State, as you know. And Florida was there too, but not really in that same category. And now there's a lot of teams in there.
I think there's also a tip of the cap to you, because this is an era in sports where the only thing that is constant is change. And you have done it here in Miami for 25 years. And I think a lot of guys look at that and say, hey, there's longevity and consistency works. If they can do it in Miami, we can do it someplace else.
Well, it has been. I got to tell you, when I came to Miami 25 years ago, I didn't really expect to coach 25 more years. I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect to coach till for 25 years down here. But it's been great for me and my family, and it's a great place to coach. I've made a lot of friends and won a couple trophies and a couple rings, and so it's been nice.
You got Pittsburgh coming in this weekend. This a Pittsburgh club that they've battled everybody as well all season long.
They have. Well, they just beat Georgia Tech 2 out of 3 last weekend, so they're a good club, and they're at another one, and they built a new stadium, and they got nice facilities, and they're emphasizing baseball, and their coach has been there for a while, and he's worked very, very hard, and everybody comes in is good. I mean, you look at our league, and at the bottom is Virginia and Virginia Tech on our side. Virginia, who was in the World Series and won it a couple of years ago. So it's a battle. It's a battle. That's the only way I know every weekend. Well,
you talk about the ACC, and in the Coastal, Duke is leading. The other division in the Atlantic, North Carolina State's having a great season. Florida State, they're struggling to get to 500.
Well, it is. It's amazing. I'm looking here trying to see exactly what the record is. Yeah, they're 8-9 right now in the league, which is amazing because they were ranked in the top 5 in the country till they got in the conference. And all of a sudden, they've been losing some games in the conference. And there's just so many schools like at Duke. I mean, Duke, to me, when they decided they wanted to win and they got the commitment from the administration, from Kevin White, their athletic director, who's a baseball guy and a guy I know, and they're doing the things it takes to win now, and they're going to be good, and they got a great product to sell. And more schools are doing that.
The footprint in the ACC is perfect for baseball because where most of these schools are located in the ACC, they're playing great youth baseball.
There really is. But you recruit nationwide. I mean, you look at Duke's roster now, they got guys from California and all over the place. And we're lucky most of our players are right here in South Florida, but they're great baseball in Atlanta. All these travel teams, you get to see everybody. Doesn't matter where they are in the country. They're all going to be playing in Atlanta in the tournament. They're going to be in Fort Myers in the tournament. They're going to be in Jupiter in the tournament. You're going to see all the best players in the country, just about all of them, in those 3 different tournaments. So they're very heavily scouted, and people are on the road and they're doing that.
You have pretty much a young team playing a lot of freshmen. What has it been like for your players? Do they understand that, gee, this is Coach Morris's last season, and understand what you've been through here at the University of Miami?
I don't talk about that much, really. I don't know. Probably the only guy that really has mentioned to me is Michael Perez. He's talked to me about it, but really, I don't talk about that. And I'm sure they know because I'm getting something at a lot of home plate, a lot of places. They're thinking, man, this guy's old. He's been here a long time. I'm sure what they're thinking because I know what I thought as a player. My coach was 35, and I thought he was old as dirt. So we got a lot of years between us, but it's fun. I've enjoyed the players. We've got overall very good effort from the young guys, and they're busting their butt and they're trying to get it done.
Well, you have certainly, when you move on, going to have a heck of an infield. Zamora and Escala played really well. You mentioned Terrell. Perhaps things are starting to come together for him. These are all freshmen. Yeah,
well, Gil's going to be a good player too, third baseman, and interesting. I mean, Gino's going to have this next year, which is going to be fun. It'll be fun to watch the progress because I'm sure Miami's always going to be good because we're very fortunate. We got a great product to sell. We have great weather. We're in a great location for players, even though we do recruit nationwide. And Gino's been with me for 19 years, so a long time, and really a perfect individual to take over the program and do what he's going to do.
This is our last show, so I don't want to leave it without.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize we had one more. Okay.
Mentioning Gino and JD.
Sure.
And 2 guys that have been with you for a long time.
Well, Gino's been with me for 19 years, and JD, I think, is 15 years. So a very steady thing. I think a lot of times today, when I ask stuff, they've already done it yesterday. What I'm asked today, because we've been together so long for everything, whether it's on the field or recruiting or camps or travel or anything else. I mean, we're kind of on the same page from that perspective, and I'm very lucky to have that consistency that not many programs have, and because most programs, the guys are all rotating, trying to get head coaching jobs, and Gino and JD, I think he kind of waited for me, to see what's going to happen there, and of course, Gino's lucky enough to get that nod, and JD could be a great head coach too, and just very lucky to have both guys, and both guys are Miami guys, which is it's been a lot of fun, and the relationship is good, and I look forward to watching it for many, many more years.
I wonder if you've had any time to even reflect on the amount of time that you spent with those 2 guys in the dugout, just watching baseball games and discussing baseball and the great battles that you've been together, that you've been through together.
Well, you suffer the losses and you enjoy the wins together. But one of my goals is, I'd just like to enjoy the win as much as I suffer a loss. And we've suffered some losses together, as a group. But thank goodness we've had a lot more wins. And I haven't really thought about that. And the most popular question is, what are you going to do when you retire from coaching baseball? I'm not really sure on that either. I'm going to open. I'm going to take some time off and relax a little bit, and maybe I'll just play golf. I don't know, but I know one thing: I'll spend a lot of time with my son.
25 years, Coach. Congratulations. You and I have been doing this a long time.
Thanks, Joe. It's been great being with you, and the shows have been great, and TV and radio. And so it's been a nice journey. I appreciate your support, and You've been here a lot longer than me.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's the skipper, University of Miami head coach Jim Morris, and we'll continue on Hurricane Game Day right after this. Wrapping up Hurricane Game Day, thanks to University of Miami head coach Jim Morris for joining us. The Canes baseball team at home this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against Pittsburgh, as Miami is at 500 in conference play. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Hurricane Game Day. So long, everyone.